Hello and welcome back. I hope you're doing well. I am getting ready for my next little adventure. Actually, this will be an adventure with me and Luna. It's going to be Luna's first long distance trip. So, wish me luck. Just me, my BFF little kitten in the road. I can't wait. So my travels continue. We'll see where I end up. And it's been a wild ride around here. Great week. If you didn't already pick up my new book, The White Tablets of Melchizedek, it is officially available for purchase. Finally, I channeled this over a year ago. And typical me, just sat on it for a while, didn't do anything with it. And it was finally time. And I actually think I might try and start editing my next one very soon, which I had channeled last April. I just, gotta get out of my way with that one. But anyway, this book is small, but it is powerful. I've talked about Master Melchizedek. I've been working with him since I was a kid. He was the first guy I ever saw in 3D, like where I could touch him in the physical. And I'm just really proud to have scribed this, and I am loving hearing everybody's reactions. A lot of my friends are telling me about these really cool, wild, spiritual experiences that are happening to them while they're reading it. So I'm really loving hearing about what gets activated for different people, whether it is very tangible, like I had this breakthrough, I had this realization, and all of the cool spiritual activations as well. So if you go to thewhitetablets.com, you can check it out there. And if you do enjoy the book and you leave an Amazon review, if you just take a screenshot of that and email that to media@christinathechannel.com, we will send you a free activation to help align you with your highest truth. It's really powerful truth activation that I have been using since I recorded it. So enjoy. What is it with my throat chakra? You'd think it'd be okay. There's been some throat chakra stuff going on. I'm in my blue quartz angel frequency sweatshirt. Can't really see with my 777 on the back. And got my clear quartz necklace. If you go to QRTZshop.com, you can find all of my products there. This is all the stuff I use and I wear in my daily life. So check it out. Lots of good stuff this week. Book. I'm traveling. Lots of movement with my home situation. There's a lot of movement in the ethers. I'm putting some things together right now. We'll get to it in a second. And also releasing invitations for my next retreat. So if you're on my email list, you will get an email about that. I'm really excited. It's going to be in September, and it is next level. This is going to be a next level experience. So I'm really, really excited. If you're on the email list, you will get first dibs. Well, if you're in the membership, you'll get first dibs on the email list. And that's where it all goes down. There's a lot of things shifting and changing. So I'm excited. Today, I want to... Well, we're going to talk to some babies. We're going to talk to some spirit babies. I was sitting down and I was like, what do I want to do today? And my spirit babies came in and they're like, bring us in, coach. Put us in. So I want to they're already here. We'll talk about them. But I'm connecting, they're saying, because I was thinking about, just what's been going on. And so many people, and I was talking about this in the latest other episodes too, but I'll bring this back to numerology for a second. We're in a 7-year, which I've said a gazillion times. I'm sure you know by now, which is all about spiritual awakening and activation. But how that manifests and the repercussions of that are going to look different for everybody. So I will say, when I look at my 7 years historically throughout my life, they have always been really focused around relationships. Because relationships for me are where I learn a lot of my deepest spiritual lessons. And think about it this way: when we have these deep personal breakthroughs, and we're really getting to know ourselves in a different way, and we're shifting on that spiritual level, that's that 7-year energy. What happens after we change and transform? Well, a lot of times our relationships have to as well. And so that means a lot of people can find themselves in a situation where maybe they're not feeling like the relationships of any sort that they're in right now are serving them anymore, because they have transformed, or they have had some really important big realizations. And so last year was a 6-year, which people call the marriage and divorce year, in a 6-year, like, rearranging of relationships. But we're seeing this continue, and there's a huge wave of this right now. I am actually kind of shocked at how many really strong or seemingly very strong relationships are struggling right now, perhaps in talks to complete that contract. But we're just at this space where it's like contracts are up, and also people are changing really, really quickly. And I'm seeing just a lot of relationships change, a lot of like long-term different marriages, and even like friend groups for a long time. So I just want to point that out, because it is going on for so many people, and it's kind of a natural byproduct of when we go through that year 7 kind of work and reflection, and we're getting recalibrated to our mission. And it's like, okay, I'm hitting my next level. Are you coming with me or not? And we can change so much that the things that we really wanted in a relationship before can change. What we want now can be different. So we are experiencing that on a whole other level. And I'll say, like, if you're experiencing challenges in your relationships right now, the real level up is, okay, for me to figure out the truth of this, of is this meant to continue? I get to show up as the truest, most authentic version of me. I get to speak my truth and live my truth, and see if this person can rise to this, can shift with this, can work with this, if they can grow with me, if they can meet me here, or if they're not going to. And I'm saying that because I think sometimes people, like, the energy I've been feeling is people are feeling like, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like F off energy, where a lot of people are just like done, and leaving situations really quickly. And it's important to, I think, give relationship dynamics of any sort opportunities to see if they can transform, because it's not always that person isn't meant to be in your life anymore, but maybe it's just in a different way. Maybe the contract's shifting in terms of the type of relationship you have with this person, or maybe it's just that the dynamics between you need to shift, right? And so you guys have to find a new flow, a new rhythm. And it can be difficult to shift dynamics when you're in the relationship, but it's absolutely possible. And that's what we're being pushed and challenged to see if we can do. What that requires is radical honesty coming from love, coming from a loving place, coming from self-love. And this goes back to that North Node Aries energy that we're stepping into next week, or on the 17th, which is really like, hey, I need to speak up for my needs. And that doesn't need to be in an aggressive or mean way. That's in a very, like, that's from a place of, I know my self-worth, and I love myself, and this is what I need, and how can we work on this, you know? So I would say, you know, if you're struggling in a relationship and you're like really bummed and you're not, you know, not wanting to like exit it, it's one thing if your intuition deep down is like, yeah, I've been kind of waiting for this, but, you know, don't jump to this needs to quote end, but maybe it's just the iteration it's in can't continue. And so there needs to be different boundaries set up. There needs to be different dynamics set up. You need to like put in different effort, you know, like spice things up, try different things, do different things, get in different dynamics, have different types of conversations. Like there can be a reworking of the dynamics. That's really important. But another part of this is related to the kids. One of the reasons sometimes why babies don't come in is if the partnerships are not aligned with where they want them to be. So I'm just look, disclaimer, this whole episode, I'm speaking as an intuitive. And what I get from different spirit babies, what I've seen with different clients, I'm just speaking from what I've channeled in my personal experience with clients, and channeling. And, you know, I have a lot of clients who who want to get pregnant, and we can look at all different kinds of angles of, you know, what the spirit babies need. But the kids coming in, you know, are very, I'm going to say, are more particular, I feel, than really ever before. And that includes with partners. And sometimes, you know, there's a lot of dynamics going on here, right? It's not so cut and dry, like the same way it's this thing between soul contracts and free will, like in life, you know, and then other people have free will and you have free will. They have contracts, you have contracts, like all kinds of stuff's going on. These kids, it's almost like their will, their intention is overriding a lot right now. Like they are so powerful, and they are really wanting the conditions of their birth onto the planet to be in full alignment for them to hit the ground running and really step into their mission, right? And so this is one of the reasons why doing your own personal development, supporting yourself, puts you in a really good place if you are wanting to have kids come in. There can be a number of reasons if someone is struggling to have children come in, but my kids are saying right now about all of what they're saying, because, you know, as I'm talking about and thinking about all these relationships that are ending, and I'm kind of surprised, and they're saying, well, they're not all meant to bring in the soul that wants to come in, and maybe a different partner is wanted, or a different dynamic is wanted between them, or even a different, like, needing to be in a different living area. And that's something that I'll say as well, if you're struggling with your romantic relationship, like your husband, your wife, your partner, long-term partner, I would look into your astrocartography as well, because I've been getting that as a thing. Like sometimes you can have conflict or misunderstandings if someone's on a line where there's a lot of like cloudy energy, or kind of like disharmonious Mars aspects, or like any like disharmonious aspects that could be affecting things. So sometimes that's why like getting to a different location, traveling, like seeing if moving can shift the energy is important. So they're just telling me to say that. Okay, so anyway, great. So I have my spirit babies here. I figured I'd just talk to them first, and I can see if there's some other kids coming in. Great. Yeah, there's a lot of them. So I'm gonna let my children, my spicy children, take the lead. I'm not gonna be sharing names because I don't want to yet, and we'll just let them kind of take the reign. So my darlings, what do you want to share? Well, they're saying that they're so excited that so many more people are wanting to know what they have to say, and they feel like they've been having to like kind of fight to get their voices heard, or it's been more difficult, and they can't believe how stubborn so many of us are here. Wow. Are you speaking for you, or are you speaking for all of the spirit babies? I mean, all spirit babies are different, obviously, right? But my mine are spicy, obviously. So she's saying, we're here for a mission, Mom. We're not screwing around. Yeah, I know. Okay, what else? She's saying that it's really important to pay attention to the kids' sensitivities coming in, and so environment is really important. And one of the things that they want to make sure we're aware of is like, she's showing me like a living situation, home. Like, is there a lot of noise nearby? Like a lot of these kids who have really strong missions, who are trying to like tap in real quick, they're going to be extra sensitive. Like she's bringing up airplanes, she's bringing up trains. I mean, look, don't shoot the messenger. So what are you saying? Like, kids don't want to have any of these noises? And she's like, just doing what you can she's bringing up soundproofing. That feels like a tall order. But I get it. It's like she's basically just saying, paying attention to the noises and how like overstimulating it can be, and music that you're listening to. She's showing me the image of somebody in their car like blasting rap music, and she's like, no, 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 no. Really thinking about honoring the portal experience of bringing the child in. And so like the entire 9 months is such a sacred portal. It's such a sacred experience. And like, if you treat that entire time as like you're in the temple, you're in ceremony, and so how are you treating yourself, setting up the conditions and the environment for the kids coming in? Okay. What is this I always get shown apples. And she's showing me apples right now. What is this thing with apples? She's saying that they really like apples and that it helps their brains grow correctly, and with them more than us, their nutrition is going to be different, and it's all going to be based on frequency, and that their digestive systems are different, and so the different foods and nutrients that they need to really optimize their health, like the same way, you know, traditional pregnancy advice of like, you know, make sure you get this supplementation or these foods to make sure you grow a healthy baby, and this supports their immune system and XYZ. She's saying like it's slightly different. A lot of hydration. I keep being shown apples and being shown electrolytes and being shown peaches. She's saying it's important that to get a range of color if you can, and like fresh, seasonal. She's bringing up like the seasonal piece, the organic piece, obviously. And I'm just gonna say as Christina, I'm just sharing what she's saying. Like obviously, trust me, I get it. I know everybody when it comes to like kids has their own opinions, and I'm like, keep your opinions to yourself. Like let the parents do what they want. That's how I feel about it, because I can't even imagine like if whenever I'm pregnant, I do not need other people's opinions. I'm just like, honor that person's experience and what they know they need. So I get it. I'm just relaying things that she's saying, and maybe it overlaps with you, and maybe it's different for your body and your baby. So I just want to say that as me. She's very feisty with it. There's something about, she keeps bringing up like sonic, like sounds, sound bowls, binaural beats, and really like that their ears are gonna be, this is interesting, like their sound perception is on a totally other wavelength. I'm curious if anyone is noticing this, if you've had kids recently. Like, yeah, their sound perception is going to be on a totally different wavelength, and she's saying it's part of what's going to allow them to be really telepathic, because they can like read the sound waves of thoughts. What? Okay. All right. Oh man. Okay, we're gonna pause there. This is getting chaotic. The little boy is coming, and he's saying that he wants some room. My spirit babies are very they're funny with each other. All right, what's next? What do you want us to know? Okay, he's saying that they need a lot more space, energetically, physically, like space to. He's showing me like making models of things, and like it's almost like making sure to give the kids material so they can build models of things that they're seeing in their heads. Like there's basically, what can we do to help them fill the gap where they're seeing things or hearing things, and they need a way to express it, and picking up language might not be fast enough. This similarly to, so he's saying it's similar to how I feel, where with all of the psychic information I get, and like the things that I the fields I read and the things I see, there are not words for me to accurately convey everything or even describe things. It's hard for me sometimes to explain a lot of what I'm getting. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and I don't always have the words. And so I feel very intensely the limitations of human language. And he's saying that the kids have that too, and we can get out a lot of really important, helpful information, especially early on, if we can give them some tools and materials to help them like bridge that gap and get out the information that language is not expressing for them. Like, yes, before they can even talk, but once they can start talking, it's just still not fast enough. It's not, language is not robust enough, he's saying, for them to really share what they're here to share. And it's very helpful to, from a very young age, start to give them space to share what they're seeing, what they know. Similarly to how a lot of us kind of turn down our intuitive gifts, or we forgot a lot of the memories that we had coming in. Like when you're a child and you're just open and you remember a lot, you might remember a lot about your other lifetimes or where you came from, things like that. But through the conditioning and through the, I don't know, just busyness, focusing on other things, we kind of forget all of that and shut it down. And so he's saying, like, making sure that we're fostering the opposite. Obviously, we're early on just asking, like, you know, about questions about dreams, or what are you seeing, or what do you see there? Do you remember where you're from? Do you like know anything about, you know, who are you? What's your name? Right? And even like, do you have any other names? Things like that. And really giving the kid space to share more of what they know and getting curious. Okay, so now we're getting spicy. Okay. He's saying that a lot of them have been planning for a really long time when they were going to come in and what they were going to do when they came in, particularly as adults. And so he's showing me like a lot of blueprint plans, like blueprints, and that they've been working on these blueprints for a really long time, and they've been preparing on a number of levels and getting trained. And I'm literally seeing like up on the spaceships, like classrooms where they're like getting trained and preparing for when they all came here. And he's saying that, like, oh, we think that we have intricate soul connections now. He's like, the divine synchronicities and like soul contract connections are so, it was 2222, right? When I said that, are going to be so strong for these kids. It's going to be like very, very unstoppable, very intense. And so a lot of weird stuff will happen to make sure these kids are in the right places with the right people, meeting the right people at the right time. Because of course they're going to come in and there will be certain things that are fuzzy, that are hazy, that they forget about who they're supposed to meet or what they're supposed to do. And that information gets time-lapse for them, time-lapse released as well. Because there is a lot of knowledge that wants to come through. He's saying that this generation of kids coming in are going to be the type that, like, it's so crazy. It's like all of the information is like stored for them and gets time-lapsed at different ages. And he's showing me like 10, 20, 30. And at these different junctures, it's like a new bit of information just turns online. And it has a very like genius kind of energy. Like he's saying they basically have all the information and it's been stored and it like activates at the correct time. And so there are going to be like huge, like, think about that. Think about like, it, you know, this generation, they all turn 20 and all of them have this whole set of data just turn online. Shit they just know, like genius level. I need to turn this up. Hold on. They all have all this stuff like just turn on. And so think about what that would do generationally into to the world. Like suddenly we have all of this information, all these memories coming on. It's like this huge leap in knowledge and awareness in technology. And it's activated by time. It's also, well, he's going back to like all the soul contracts and he's saying like basically get out of the way. Like it's really important that adults understand these ideas of soul contracts, of divine timing, of synchronicity, this whole idea of like not forcing your way through life and allowing your higher self to guide you even when you don't understand it, understanding ego versus soul. And so he's saying it's really important that adults now experience this and understand this so that we can support these kids in making sure that they are, how do I describe that? Like, it's like, okay, if I have a child and I really want them to go to this school and everything is going wrong with it, it's just not working out, and like maybe my brain is like, this is the best school in the area, I've been on this wait list for 10 years, you know how it is with kids nowadays, like something like that, and I keep trying to force or push, and I'm trying to make it happen, it's not working out for a reason. And so it's really important that, like, as adults, we understand that, so that we can be like, okay, why is the universe redirecting me? It's so that the kid can go somewhere else because maybe there's somebody that they need to meet. And he's saying a lot of these really important soul contracts, like important people in their life, they're going to meet really, really early on. Like it's interesting because I feel like, you know, over the years, a lot of different milestones get pushed later and later because we live longer and we have access to more resources, and we realize, you know, we have space. Like, I think about, okay, I'm 28 years old, and, you know, back in the day, you had a kid when you were 14, right? And like, you know, I don't know, my parents had me when they were 25, or not 25. They had my sister when they were 25. You know, they were having kids when they were 25. And in my generation now, depending on where you live, I think it's really it just changes, you know, where you live, everything's different in terms of what's normal, depending on just culture, where you live, all that, right? But I'll just speak like for myself as one example. Most of my friends my age, like maybe people are having kids when they're 30. Right? And maybe before it was more common to have kids when you're like early 20s, things like that. That's just one example. I know it's different everywhere, but I'm just talking from my perspective. And he's basically saying like a lot of the ages that people do different things, not necessarily having kids, but it's going to be a lot younger. Like making sure that this generation has opportunities to like be a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 15-year-old child prodigy. Because with that, a lot of really important soul frequencies have been reincarnated in right now, people who are living, but also like, it's sort of like, okay, I told somebody this the other day. A friend of mine asked me if he was like, I know this is going to sound weird, but am I this, insert a certain God? And I said that, you know, a lot of these different entities that we know, different deities, gods, goddesses, ascended masters, are reincarnated on some level on the planet now. And by that, I mean that a lot of us have souls that are threaded with different gods, goddesses, ascended masters, things like that. Like different people will have similar thread of that frequency, right? So a lot of times I'll look at someone and there might be a certain god or goddess or deity that I work with where I'm seeing that frequency embedded within that person as one aspect of their soul. So it's kind of looking at like, what are the different frequencies, like almost like what are your soul's parents, that kind of thing. Or going places. And so we can have these different aspects of us like running through us, you know? And part of that is like, it's sort of like this foundational energy generationally of a level of awareness and self-development, spiritual development, spiritual maturity that creates a foundation for the souls incarnating next, like to be able to really, okay, the best example I can give is like, think about Mary, think about Mother Mary, and there's this light here, Mother Mary and Jesus, right? So the mother of Jesus was chosen for a reason about who was going to be a vibrational match to be able to support this child, help this child flourish, in a number of ways, right? And so it's kind of like that's why a lot of the souls that have incarnated are here with those threads of those different ascended master frequencies to be able to hold space for these really powerful reincarnations that are going to come through in this next generation. Like these are going to be, I mean, he's showing me a lot of different artists of different sorts. He's showing me a lot of different creatives and scientists. Like they get reincarnating and like threads of their soul in different people, right? It's not always a straight like one-to-one, like this is, I don't know, whoever Tesla reincarnated. it's not always like that. It could be like that soul frequency can be in multiple different people. And so he's basically just saying like a lot of big reincarnations are happening to with the soul memory more intact so that they can bring forward that information at a lot younger of an age. And it's important that we open up the space for these kids to share what they know, even if it seems really advanced. He's saying it's going to, it's going to trigger a lot of people and there's going to be a big divide. This is interesting. He's showing me like a really strong divide with like adults who don't want to listen to these younger people and are stuck in tradition. And he's showing me like the tower card and buildings crumbling. He's like, if you're trying to hold on to the old way of doing things. And then there's this, he's showing me like this whole other group of adults who are curious and who are listening and who are starting to implement and work with these ideas and bringing some of these really young people like 14, 15, like onto these high level teams. And, it's a much more collaborative energy. And so he's saying like, we're really going to notice where we collaborate and where we don't. Wow. Okay. I need a sip of tea to kind of, to work with that. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Okay. It's important that they get to be very expressive. Color, texture, vibe, aesthetic is really important for these kids coming in. And they're going to have like visceral reactions. He's saying you'll understand because you have a sacral. Like I get really, like if I walk into a room and the aesthetic is wrong, I'm just like, I can't with this. Like, and I mean wrong for me, like my personal resonance in that individual moment. It's not like a right or wrong overall, like objectively. It's all subjective. It's all just based on resonance. Like I could go in a situation today and feel really good, and then tomorrow I'm in the same situation. I'm like, no, this is all wrong. And it's like this visceral no. If you have that sacral, you probably feel that in your body, and it's so uncomfortable. And he's saying that that's going to be really true for them as well. It's really important that they have space to express themselves and have room to like play with how they want to express themselves, and even like, and he's saying not be put in a certain box. And he's showing me, he keeps bringing up Beethoven. Okay. He's bringing up Beethoven, but he's showing me like a kid dressing, getting to pick what they're wearing and dressing themselves so differently every day. And in that expression, he's showing me this little kid who like dressed up like so radically differently every single day. And then one day he dresses up like a little Beethoven, and it's giving you clues about that person's soul resonance and like certain memories. And he's saying it's really important, like this is a generation where we can give them the opportunity to know themselves, not just as, I'm Christina Rice, I'm incarnated here, I was born in this city, I do this for fun, but really as understanding themselves as a multidimensional being, like as I'm Christina Rice in this incarnation, and I also am this and this and this. I'm from this planet. I'm from here. I'm from there. I have a lot of soul memory here, and really getting to like from the get-go experience themselves as multidimensional beings. And that's just gonna like, I mean, think about that. If your soul memory is online, how much more quickly you can do everything in life and how much more quickly you can learn certain skills and even just, or rather remember certain skills. And that allows us to really advance because we're not wasting all this time trying to just learn the basics. It's like you just have this leg up of I'm automatically remembering this. He's showing me the X-Men school and saying that we need a lot more of those. We need more safe spaces. We need more spaces where kids can lean into their natural gifts early on and really learn to hone them. And that there will be a lot of kids with very unique gifts that a lot of parents aren't necessarily going to understand. And so people who are in the healing arts now, like different types of intuitives and energy workers, things like that, are going to be really important for supporting parents in helping their kids understand their gifts. And he's saying there's more than enough space for all of you, and not to limit who you work with necessarily, just to be open to that might be. And he's saying that you too, Mom. I know. I'm going to work with a lot of the kids. I know. But that's going to be a key thing at play. I mean, when a whole generation is very different, that affects all of us. That affects all of us. And really, especially he's saying in the health and wellness area, because he's showing me that there's going to be just a lot of friction between parents who are trying to advocate for their children and figure things out and who understand like what their kids are experiencing or feeling or going through, and then traditionally trained doctors who are maybe like, stuck in their old ways, who are not getting it. And he's showing me I'm seeing the scene of a dynamic, and a parent is getting really frustrated with this doctor, and like they're kind of arguing, and he's like, where is this parent going to go? Like, it's really important, like, if you're any type of medical professional, health professional, to start to understand this stuff and to be in open space and make it very clear, like in marketing, like, hey, like, I get it. If you have a starseed kid, like straight up saying that, because people are going to be looking for you. Okay. A really powerful connection to animals. He's showing me birds. He's literally showing me birds, and he's showing me him on this earth plane, and he's like cawing. He's like making bird calls, and he's like literally talking to the bird. Like, they just know the language, and he's saying like that they're going to remember those languages from other incarnations, from other planets, from other spaces, and really teach us how to work with nature in a very different way and communicate with nature in a very different way. I like that a lot. All right. Okay, so my daughter's coming back in. She's saying, okay. She's saying that a lot of us are so caught up in and worried about things that are not important, and we need to be thinking about things bigger than ourselves. And if we started to look at it from the big picture, about the big mission, about supporting each other on a large level, would we be prioritizing different things? Would we be worried about different things? Would we be offering different things? Would we be creating different things? Would we be collaborating in different ways? She's just saying that a lot of people right now are so kind of caught up in their own BS and their own ego. And I don't mean that like, oh, you're so in your ego. I don't mean it like that. She's saying it's just like things that are very 3D and matrixy, that are meant to keep you in the hamster wheel, that are blocking you from really understanding what's important. And they're saying like the kids are really talking to a lot of people, and a lot of people are not realizing that that's what's going on. And whether or not you have children or are going to have children, they're saying that there's just so many spirit babies that are looking for ins right now. And she's saying that, like, she's showing me a couple where the spirit baby wants to come in, but they're not opening up lines for communication. So then the spirit baby is talking to one of the friends, like they're just like really trying to give certain information to say, hey, let's go. And she's just saying like she wants us to realize how much they're orchestrating. Like all my kids right now are being like, you guys don't realize how perfectly planned this all is. Like, we're not dumb. We are planning all of this, and we have ideal conditions that we want to come in with, and that they understand that, like, when you look at life and you look at all of these incredible synchronicities and how it all worked out, and it's like, it's so beautifully, divinely designed. And they're like, yeah, we understand that every single moment, every single decision, every single frequency we touch, like, this is all contributing to the tapestry of our lives. That's interesting. And it's all extremely intentional. And they're saying that when you start to communicate with the spirit babies coming in, like, they're so motivated to have an ideal experience, and that they're going to work with you to make things move. She's saying also, remember that they're stronger than you think, that they're stronger than us. Probably. Okay. I feel like that's where I want to wrap up for today. Just a lot of energy for me. But they're saying they're happy to come back. If you have kids, if you have questions for the spirit babies, I can bring them back in. I can call for my kids or other spirit babies that want to talk to us, because, they're chatty. Just leave a comment under this video on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. You can also go to christinathechannel.com/pod, P-O-D, and submit it there, and we can, my team will kind of collect all the questions so we can do an episode where I ask them any like more specific questions that you have. So there's a little sneak peek into what the spirit babies have to say today. I mean, I just kind of let them lead it, but I can come in with questions next time. So thank you, my loves. Thank you. Okay. And yeah, I hope you found this interesting. Let me know what you think. Let me know what's coming up for you. I think it's so helpful for parents now, or even if you're not a parent, like if you have any kids around you, nieces, nephews, friends, any anecdotal experiences of what you're kind of seeing and experiencing is really helpful for everybody about how to best support the children coming in. And the thing is, whether or not you're going to have kids, or you have them, or you don't, you already had them, whatever, like, this actually, it does affect us all. So yeah, they're powerful. All right, I'm going to wrap up there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button if you did enjoy this. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you are listening to the podcast, be sure to take a screenshot, share it to social media, tag me at Christina the Channel, and tag at Christina the Channel podcast, so that we can repost you and say a big thank you. If you think somebody in your life would enjoy this information, be sure to share the link with them, spread the love. We can keep growing this community and keep having some epic conversation. So thanks again so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will chat with you again next time.